I wrote something about time that I had spent when I was volunteering at the Free Clinic in Berkeley, and it was called Free Clinic, actually. And it got over to a group called Nickel, Ross, and West. And they were doing a show called The Dumplings with James Coco and Geraldine Brooks. It was a Norman Lear show. And unbeknownst to me, Mimi West, Bernie's wife, was one of the founders of the LA Free Clinic. And so he was really predisposed to like it. And they brought me in to pitch ideas. There's two funny things about it. One is that they were what you call a three-person problem-solving group, Nickel, Ross, and West. Diana, who's getting her PhD in communication, one of her subspecialties is three-people communication problem-solving groups. And she said, here's what you have to do, because evidently all three-person problem-solving groups operate the same way. And so in the meeting, there will be moments in the meeting when they're more available to your best ideas. So Diana sets me up. You know, the first idea, you have to set your credibility, but people don't want to buy the first idea. So you really don't want your best idea. You have but a really good idea that sets your credibility. Then there's one or two. And I think the numbers were like 4 and 7, where they're ready to go, you know. And so that was the first part that was interesting. The second thing is, they all operate this way. What Diana coined this phrase in layman's terms, the heart, the blood, and the mind. So the first one, if I give an idea, Bernie was the heart. Whatever idea I pitched, he loved it. This is great. I love this idea, you know, just enveloping me with warmth and affection. And then Mickey was the blood, you know. Well, he gets the idea pumping, you know, and changes yeah, it's a good idea, but we could add this, and what if this character did that, and he does that. And then Don was the mind, you know, and he'd go, what else you got, you know? And so really it's clear that the only guy who was going to make the decision was Don Nickel. But Bernie and Mickey would do everything up to that. And everything was exactly that way. And then at the end of it, they bought my fourth idea and my seventh. Yeah, so it was exactly as Diana had predicted. I felt I had such an advantage over these guys, you know? And that was the first sale. As a joke, this is true. As a joke, I said, when do you need it in? They said, this is a Friday, they said, we need to see it on Monday. Well, I didn't know they were kidding. So I went home that weekend and wrote the script. In fact, we had company over, friends of ours coming from New Mexico. And I had a typewriter in the bathroom. And I would say, excuse me, I didn't want to hurt their feelings. They'd come all the way, but I had to get the script done on Monday. I would go in and type in the bathroom, you know, 3-4 pages at a time. And I finished the script. You know, I come in on Monday and I give them the script, and they were so shocked. And I think they felt so guilty that they said, well, they were going to read it there, you know. And they read it and they liked it, and they said, you know, you don't need to do a second draft, and get on to the next idea. So I write the next idea, and they liked that, and then they wanted to hire me on staff. One small thing, there was no money. It was not a paying staff position, you know. So Jim Preminger was saying, well, I don't want you to do that. And I said, Jim, look, this is either one of two things. Either this is the beginning of a long career, in which case I'll have a great story to tell one day, or it's the end of my career, in which case, what's the difference, you know? But I think I was also more comfortable because there was no money involved, so the pressure was off. It was like the old barter system, you know. So I felt like, in my mind, they gave me a fellowship. You know, I had a fellowship to study comedy writing, and those guys are great. They put me on a desk in the hall, and I would write. They give me a scene to punch up or whatever, just an attitude, whatever. You know, it was really, I was obviously not vital. You know, I was just doing some stuff, and it was great. But what happened was, they weren't putting my stuff in the finished script, and they were rewriting my stuff, which even then, it was very hard for me. I always just care about process. You know, at the end of it, that's all you have. You just have your process. There's no other thing. So if the process isn't solid and satisfying, there's nothing else you can have. I remember, just to digress for 1 minute, Mike Fox, we were once in New York, and it was probably the lowest point we were doing Spin City. It was just so hard. And I said, Mike, God, they are not paying us enough to put up with all this. And Mike said, they're coming very close. So he always had a good perspective. But anyway, at the end of this couple of weeks there, they came to me and they said, we want to hire you. Now we have a job, $850 a week, I think it was. And I come home, I said to Diana, and this is how you know how great my wife is, but I said to Diana, I don't want to take this job, you know? I mean, I don't think I can do it. I don't know why they're laughing at what they're laughing at. I don't know why they're taking my stuff out, which I think is, and really what I felt is I'm going to disappoint these guys. And for a comedy writer, if people aren't laughing at what you're laughing at and they're laughing at something, it's really physically painful. I mean, my head would hurt from it, and I really like these guys. So I said, what do you think we should do? We're on food stamps. We're on food stamps. We're living in a terrible neighborhood. We have a baby. And Diana said, you can't take the job. You have to be happy. You have to be doing work that you want to do. You can't just take a job. So, and that was always Diana's attitude, $850, $850, whatever. It's just, if you're not happy, we're not doing it. And we'll make whatever adjustment has to be made. So I always had that, in my corner. So I never had to worry. And I went in to see these guys and I said, look, I love you. I love you. You gave me my first job. I'll never forget you. But I can't, I won't make you happy. I just can't, I won't make you happy. And that would really hurt me. And they said, they didn't take offense. They said, well, it would be a great place for Gary is if this place existed on the moon. They go, MTM. Maybe MTM. Maybe he'd be happier there. And they call over to MTM for me, and they send the stuff over, my first drafts of their scripts, to Gordon and Lynn Farr, who were the story editors on the Newhart Show for Tom Patchett and Jay Tarsis. The Farrs like it enough to call me in and going to pitch for the Bob Newhart Show. And this is a real show. I've seen this. I know this show. I love this show. I love Bob Newhart, And I'm ready. I'm 32 now. I know this is I know this is the major leagues. I prepare 26 story ideas. I don't mean just notions. I have the act break. I have everything. I could do the whole season for them. I'm written a new theme song. I'm looking at costume changes. I'm there. I'm not leaving there without a job, I knew this was big. And I get there, and Farrs couldn't have been nicer. They were just incredible. I don't think either one is still here. They were Canadian. I don't know if they're either still here working. But they were great. And the first 6 ideas I pitch, they're already doing, which I would have no way of knowing. So I was right on target for that show because they called Tom and Jay in, and I sell two ideas that day. And that was the beginning of actually being in show business.